I don't like guns. Like, I'm definitely afraid of them. So to have to tap into the fact that Bobby Trey is shooting sniper rifles that can fold up and go into backpacks, I'm Johnny Ray's like, whoa, I don't know how, this isn't cool.
Listen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Keefe, editor-in-chief of the Quintessential Gentleman, and today we are talking to Mr. Johnny Ray Gill. You know him, Bobby Trey, off of the new series Cross on Prime Video. What's going on, my brother? How are you?
I'm chilling, man, like a villain, Ellen killing and stealing.
A villain you are. A villain you are. Perfect, man. So, I mean, the series is out. Everyone is talking about it. How do you feel right now in this moment?
I feel grateful. I feel grateful to the community. I feel grateful to the international community. Just moving in gratitude, man. We number one in 116 countries. DC is excited. Shreveport is excited. So, that's what makes my heart sing. So, like I said, just feeling grateful.
Yeah. So when you were filming, did you know it was oh yeah, this the one, or this gonna hit? How was it feeling? Like, did you get that feeling when you were on set?
No, because I feel like if you're in that feeling, you're too far in the future. And I
Mm,
think you need to be in the moment, in the present. There's just so many things that can happen between you filming a show to the edit to what the network is going to say to what there's plenty of things we thought were going to resonate with an audience, as a country, and it doesn't. And then there's things that you don't expect that resonate, and then they resonate in a way that no one thought. So I would just focus on the character, focus on building a rapport with the cast and doing honor to Ben Watkins and the rest of the writers' words.
so that thought process seems very experienced, meaning that you've been down you've been down this road before, so you know.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Therapy is beautiful, man. I know that. I know. Cross gets into that, the latter parts of the episode. But I think that so many of us are very focused on what happened in the past, and so very focused on what's happening in the future. You don't take time to acknowledge what's going on in the present. And if you don't acknowledge what's going on in the present, you can, the things that you dreamed about, they can slide past you and you go unnoticed. So I was in the present, brother.
For the word, I needed that. Thank you so much. Okay, so tell me what interests you in being a part of this project?
Ben sent it to me. I had a film at Austin Film Festival, and when he sent me the script at the time, I was working on that. But he said, "Hey, check this out. See if it's something that you would rock with. I have a character that I wrote for you, so check it out." And what made me want to do the show wasn't even my character. There's a scene in the opening episode, a dinner scene, where they're having a serious discussion about police brutality and the duality and the dichotomy of what it means to be a black police officer. And 9 times out of 10 in Hollywood, that conversation is written horribly.
Mm,
And this
mm.
time it was nuanced. And to hear the word peace officers, I was stunned to read that, and so I said, "This is something I have to be a part of." And then in the discussions about Bobby Trey, I just knew this was a character I needed to try to take on and breathe life into. So yeah, man, the words on the page.
Yeah. Um, I think a lot of times when we again get into the conversation around police officers, police brutality, it's always like, we feel like, oh, it's black and white and then it's blue. And then I think from this um kind of representation, how we're actually able to see it's like, okay, no, but this is a black man and he's doing, his job, but then also understanding it's still a black man at the end of the day. And to your point, we don't see that too often. So it was great to
Yeah,
see.
yeah, it's nuance, and I think so many of us are awakening to understand that things are infinitely more layered and nuanced than a lot of times they're given credit for. So to be on a project that is allowed to operate inside that nuance, like I said, it's a blessing, and I'm grateful.
Yeah. No, awesome. So you read in the script. How do you feel with your character, man? You was wild. You was a wild boy, man. How did when you first read those words that you love so much in the script?
Right.
Still.
It's interesting because the one of the descriptions that really stood out to me about Bobby Trey is they say he fake smiles all the time
Hmm.
and he is motivated by money. And at the time, I was reading the People's History of the United States, and the first thing that I wrote in my notes was Bobby Trey is capitalism personified. He's capitalism come to life, and I wanted to exhibit the charm of capitalism and the viciousness and brutality of it. Capitalism will pollute the shoreline and then sell it back to you for 350, and then make a nice commercial about it with toys and children and the whole nine, knowing that people were murdered in the process to get this money. Um, and given that Bobby Trey is a former police officer, a former detective, I wanted to infuse him with the again the violence and charm and money seeking of so much that is the of policing in our country, and let that come to life. And like I said, that's literally where it started, and where it starts, you just kind of move as the writers begin to move as the season progresses, as you get more information.
Awesome, awesome. So what characteristics or what things would you say are kind of similar between you and Bobby Trey? For me, I was like, oh, he put that shit on. Excuse my language. He was listen. What was fly?
Hey, yeah, I mean, he liked to dress now. I mean, I think Maxwell was in my head when I was seeing certain stuff. Lenny Kravitz, you know
Yep.
what I mean. But again, that's that dichotomy. This fact that somebody can be as murderous, but also my jeans got to fit right.
Yeah.
Like quintessentially, it's got to be beautiful. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I think that's probably the closest thing because obviously I don't murder people. Um,
Uh,
but the shoes, but the shoes. That was another thing that really got me into the character of Bobby Trey. He wore a lot of cowboy boots, wore a lot of platform shoes and stuff like that. And I've never really rocked that kind of style before. So before we started filming in season one, I went to one of the little thrifts, found me some fly cowboy boots, and was walking around with the joints to try to get. And I was like, oh, okay, this is a whole different little move. Okay, we good. So definitely the fashion, definitely the fashion.
Awesome, awesome. So, how did you like playing a victim? A victim, excuse me, a villain. Was that like, is that a part of you where it's like, I always feel like, you always have the angel and the devil on your side, and now as an
Uh-huh.
actor, you can kind of play into those spaces. Were you like, did you
It's so
really
interesting.
that space?
It's so interesting that you slipped and said victim first, because I think Bobby Trey is a victim of systems.
Mm.
Um, but then the villainy, you know, how do you say that to me one more time? I want to make sure I'm answering that question the right way.
So I
I want
want
to
to,
get
did you enjoy playing a villain? Were there
so
aspects
yes,
of the villain that you enjoyed?
but then there's the stuff that's in there, right? Like I don't like guns. Like I'm deathly afraid of them.
Mm.
So to have to tap into the fact that Bobby Trey is shooting sniper rifles that can fold up and go into backpacks, I'm Johnny Ray's like, whoa, I don't know how, this isn't cool. You know what I'm saying? And so I think for me personally, like it's fun playing that stuff, sure, but then there's also like a residue where you're
Mm.
like, oh, this is it. Like it's sad that we've made inventions that we can fold into backpacks and I can look 2 miles down the road and see someone sipping their coffee and they don't know that I'm looking at them. You know what I mean? At the exact same time, we don't have healthcare or what have you. So for me, it's that dichotomy of, yeah, this is cool, but how cool is it? And then how much of that exists in Bobby Trey's conscious and in his subconscious. And I think that's how you don't get caught in two dimensionality when it comes to creating these characters. I think a lot of times people are just so focused on how cool it is to do this, and it's like, no, Bobby Trey. I think Bobby Trey understands the viciousness of what has to transpire for him to get done whatever he needs to get done.
Yeah, makes sense. You kind of talked a little bit about it, at least from maybe possibly one of the things, but I was gonna ask what was kind of the hardest part about
Mm.
the series?
Uh, Keeping the viciousness close. When I'm on set, if I'm doing a comedy, for example, I'm more jokey on set, so my wit is available to me, right? So I'll be playing around with the crew and the cast and all that kind of stuff. For something like this, kind of want to stay to yourself, he fake smiles a lot. So a lot of times you don't really want to be bothered. So you kind of got to keep that close. And also researching some of this stuff, like a lot of the stuff I didn't know about drug use, for example, before uh, reading the script and taking on the character. So you're watching the documentaries, having conversations with family members and friends about certain things, and then you realize like, oh, whoo, this is heavy, you know. And so it's just that's like finding the truth in that, and then finding the truth in his roots in Shreveport and all that kind of stuff. I'm all deep on Reddit and deep in on YouTube, trying to figure out what they say in Shreveport, how did they, all that. So just trying to make sure you get the nuances right. And like I said, the viciousness, man, it's a but Jay Z got that record where he says the evils. It feels like it's like right there, like some ghosts. You know what I mean? So, yeah,
No, I get it. I get it. And I, learned that you come from theater. And
yeah,
I the conversation. We recently wrote a post about a blog about a few of the actors who have come from theater now to make it the big screen, silver screen. And I want to know, why do you think that, or I would say, what about theater makes it such a good transition or be able to adapt to the silver screen?
I would say that the silver screen, kind of adapts to the theater because the theater is where you learn how to act, how to do a full body performance. So you're not on camera just whispering. So you know what your shoulder's doing and your knee and your foot. Acting is a for me, acting is about conveying the human experience, and the human experience isn't just in the face; it's in the entire body. Um, so when you watch, I know on my Instagram, I just posted because rest in peace, James Earl Jones. There's a great scene with him in Fences with Courtney Vance, and if you watch James Earl Jones, it's a full body experience of this father that is trying to navigate the American wilderness while also raising a family and all that stuff, right? And you can see that in your parents and in your cousins and your loved ones and your girlfriend or boyfriend or what have you. And the theater is where you get that injection. So, I don't know if you need to have a formal training situation or go to conservatory or drama school or whatever, but it's important. There's a reason why August Wilson and Shakespeare and Moliere, Susan Laurie Parks, I can go down the list of just amazing full work. But I also don't think it's just theater too. I think you just need to be well read in general. Like literature is important. Reading is important. I mean, Cross is based off of the James Patterson book series. So many of the great things in Hollywood are based off off books and plays because they're so rich on the inside. There's so much information inside 400 pages that sometimes you can't put inside of a screenplay. You know what I mean? And then it's our job as actors and writers to put it into the subtext. So it's vastly important, and I wish more people understood.
I do too. I do too. Um, so one of the things that I really enjoyed about Cross was just the authenticity. I think someone who I went to school in like Virginia, so the D
Mm-hmm.
area, and I think a lot of times when they portray DC, it's like White House DC is all,
Right,
it's like no, no,
right.
no, no. DC is, it's
It's
a
like
different
that.
beast.
It's
It's
like
definitely
that.
different, right? So, and I love that, the show, it was very, the language, showing
Mm-hmm.
the streets and things like that. It was just very, very good. In my opinion, I would love to know on your end on kind of that authenticity, from either the DC side from the geographical standpoint, but also it being like black, like this show is black and
Yeah,
show so much dynamics.
yeah. I mean, we know when someone we say something is black. We know what that means, and I think that we all have a subconscious meter when we tune into something, and you go, oh, wait a second, oh, and so DC plays can do this show or do this character without DC playing a real role in what's going on. What is good brother Aldous say at the beginning? It's DC Slim. So for me, it was even an education for me because I haven't spent a lot of time in DC. So
Okay.
Ben's Chili Bowl, all these really beautiful things, like it matters. And so often Hollywood takes for granted how much that stuff matters for us, right?
Right.
There will be infinite nuances for other folks, but then for us, it's just, oh, we in DC and maybe a black person will walk past. It's like, no, we're immersed in this, right? Um, And then same thing for something as for Bobby Trey. That episode 3, I believe it is, when he asked about Shreveport stuffed shrimp. I've had people say they was, you watching the show and cutting vegetables, and they said, "What did he say? Hold on, wait. Now I got to lock in now." Because
Right.
we're hearing the things that matter for us. It's like being from Portland. If I was watching a TV show and I heard 9th Street Chicken, I'm gonna go, hold on, wait a second. They really in Portland.
Right.
This ain't Portlandia. That's the whole other side of Portland. I ain't from that part. I'm from this
Right.
other side. So the authenticity is incredibly important, and then to do it on such a prestige show like Cross, you're blending all the things and you're bringing all the layers to the table. So you know this show is like a sexy pot of gumbo, man. We got all the
Aw-
things.
Awesome. So talking about all the things, I want to know, how was it working with the cast? And I
Mm.
mean, your second time with Aldous Hodge, because the underground.
Yes, yes.
What was in the underground? How was all of that?
First of all, it's beautiful to for me and Al to have shared such career
Mhm.
closeness, I guess you could say. Underground was a beautiful show. We also actually played brothers on Rectify, even though we didn't actually work together. I remember watching. I'm like, oh, here we are again. And so to be
Right.
working again on Cross is a blessing. The rest of the cast is amazing. From Ryan to Alona, Samantha. I mean, we getting down. Mama Juanita. It was such a close knit set. Isaiah. Um, it was a blessing, and so it's really difficult. It's kind of like a basketball team. Like you can do it, but it's much easier to win a championship if everybody's on the same page and everybody's working in tandem with each other. And that's what it
Right.
was like. And that's what it was like on set, man. Everybody was watching each other's back and building each other up and bringing their best work to the table.
Awesome. Awesome. There's two more questions for you. I do
Of
want to know,
course.
what advice would you give to actors who just haven't hit that one yet, that they kind of keep going? What advice would you have them to keep going?
This is gonna sound incredibly cliche, so I might as well just get that out the way. It's a marathon.
Okay.
And the faster you understand that, the faster you'll take the pressure off yourself and just let it happen. Like again, like this part, I didn't do nothing. All I did, I auditioned for Ben maybe 8 years ago, and then next thing you know, this thing happens because somebody remembers something that I did. Um, if you really got the juice with this thing and you really love it, this thing's like football. You're gonna tear your ACL, your back gonna get blown out, your hip gonna be jacked up. But those brothers, a lot of them keep coming back because there's a need to be on the field. They love it, right? And I think that same thing kind of exists for us. So if you're young, I would say, like I said, it's a marathon. You never know where you can hit. Um, Also, too, you really gotta love it because just because you're in the game don't mean you gonna hit.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop people who really love the craft, right? Because there's so many outlets, and making it doesn't just mean that you're on some huge show. Also, I would say have other stuff to do in the meantime, between time. Have other things that you love, and a lot of times those interests can wind up backdooring you into a project that you might be working on. So have other interests, be well read, and like I said, it's a marathon.
Awesome. Awesome. And my last question is, what can we look forward to from Mr. Johnny Ray Gill? Hopefully now season two, you
Yeah.
community deal. I'm just, you ain't
I
get killed
mean,
off,
hey
so.
man, you know what I'm saying? I mean, stay tuned for season 2. I'm not
Right.
sure when we drop in, but it's on the way. Also in 2025, stay tuned. Got the album coming. We're gonna be releasing some music, and a book of poetry. So I got some things on the horizon.
Awesome. Awesome. What type of music?
Hip hop, hip hop. I started in the game as a spoken word poet. I
Mm-hmm.
was actually performing in Philly, and that's how I wind up again. That's how I wound up doing my first play. Somebody saw me performing and said, "Hey, I think you should audition for this play called Jitney." I
Yep.
I had no idea what that was, and so next thing you know, it opened up this world of quote unquote serious acting. Because before that, I had just done improv, right? So
Mhm.
you start winding up how you start seeing how the other parts of your artistry start feeding the other parts, right?
Mhm.
So it's kind of for some people to be new, but for me, it's just a return to my roots.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, definitely keep us posted. We'll look out for it. Everybody, make sure if you have not seen all of the 8 episodes of Cross on Prime Video, we didn't give you a whole bunch of spoilers, but you'll be all right. Just make sure you check it out and be looking for season 2. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, G. Catch you on the flip.